Every year April Fool's comes around, and every year there's some pretty good gaming pranks. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, the 10 gaming April Fool's jokes that were truly ridiculous. Number 10 is the GeForce GTX G-Assist Assisted Gaming USB stick from 2017. This is an absolutely ridiculous idea. Basically, the idea is that Nvidia has amazing artificial intelligence that can observe you as you play your game and emulate you in online gaming interactions. That means you can go answer the door, get your pizza from the pizza guy, eat the pizza, just do stuff. I mean, it was kind of an obvious joke. I don't know, some people probably believed it, but I'm guessing that they were fairly young and haven't dealt with a fake tech announcement before, and that's not their fault. See, the interesting thing to me about this one is that it basically eliminates the need to play video games, which is the most absurd thing you would ever want as a gamer. Number 9, and this one is just a little bit more on the a bit devious side, in my opinion anyways. You see, way back in the day, there used to be a magazine called Nintendo Power, and, well, let's just go ahead and say it was literally an advertisement for Nintendo as a magazine. Also, that's not the April Fool's joke. It kind of seems like it is, but the joke is actually what they put into it. You see, in 1999 on April Fool's, Nintendo Power included a way to get Yoshi in Pokemon. And looking at it today, it's even fairly believable as far as what it looks like. It obviously has a few clues that give the joke away, but still. A comes in from a user, which Nintendo Power would vet that kind of thing, and therefore it would have been something that the editors of Nintendo Power would have actually thought about before publishing. Because they didn't just publish the tip, which was sent in by J. Esther, get it? Jester, like a jokey person, via the net, which we've all found that the internet is home of the truth. They also published screenshots detailing how to do it. I had a subscription to Nintendo Power in the 90s, and I have no idea if I fell for this, I cannot remember. But I like it. Number 8, there's a flight sim called War Thunder. It usually engages in April Fool's jokes, and its best is by far a giant lightning shooting snail that destroys the city. Footage of the giant lightning shooting snail, in my opinion, is some of the better flight simulator footage that there is. It is outright silly. Also, the developer who creates War Thunder has a snail for their logo. Coincidence?
I think not!
Although, I don't really know why the snail would destroy the city if it's their logo. But I don't, it's a joke, it doesn't really matter. Number 7, the official Sonic the Hedgehog account tweeted out on April Fool's that it is beginning to sell the official Sonic collection, available for 1 week only, with a URL of bit.ly or bit.ly or, whatever, / it's totally real. It has some really great stuff, a t-shirt with Sonic on it, Sonic being a bad drawing of Sonic, iPhone case, a mug, another iPhone case with a bunch of small Sonics on it, and it's great. In Comic Sans, it says, who thought this was a good idea? And I'm just gonna go ahead and say the April Fool's joke is that it's not real, and it actually is a good idea, but they didn't do it. So April Fool's to you. What I'm saying is that they should sell all of these items, because that would be the best April Fool's joke of all, and I would buy them. Sonic still cracks me up after all these years. Number 6, back in 2013, Sega announced Football Manager 1888, which is I think, self-explanatory April Fool's joke. It would require a lot of actual programming and retooling of Football Manager on account Victorian football was very different than real football. Real football. Soccer, I guess. Okay, I mean modern football. It's just funnier to say real football to me. It was a pretty in-depth kind of actual pitch in a way, and I'm surprised they actually didn't follow through on it, because I think it would actually be quite a bit of fun to play Football Manager 1888 with the original 12 football clubs actually having to deal with the weirdness of Victorian football. But on the other hand, it's also a very niche product that works definitely better as an April Fool's joke than as a real product that you would have to spend money to create, market, and then expect people to buy. Number 5, Razer put out a video advertising their new hover mouse. They called it Project McFly, which you get it, right? The hoverboard. It's also outright hilarious and weird. I think this one would have maybe been a bit harder to fall for than the artificial intelligence one from NVIDIA because, yeah, it's ridiculous. A hovering mouse? A, you don't need it. B, you can't even convince lazy people that they need it. Doesn't actually help with laziness. In fact, what does it do besides hover? If it was real, you wouldn't want it. I don't think anyway. Also, they went with a much more jokey tone for the video. Not that the NVIDIA one didn't have its little nods and jokes. This one was outright just like, hey, we're joking. And at the end, he breaks character and laughs. So, still, doesn't mean it's not funny. It is funny. You wouldn't want the hovering mouse, I don't think. That's why it's funny. Number 4, Assassin's Creed is a pretty much legendary series that everybody has played at least one of. It's something that we have all thought, wow, this is pretty intense. I like this story. So of course, when they announced it for Kinect, it was pretty funny. Especially because of all of the really just utterly nonsense actions that you would have to do. Just the fact that you would have to belly flop in order to go ahead and jump off of a tower, or you'd have to do climbing motions to, traverse basically anything. It's just nonsense. It's something that partly contradicts the wish fulfillment part of Assassin's Creed. Like, part of what makes Assassin's Creed cool is you're doing stuff that you definitely can't do in real life in order to actually do things in Kinect in Assassin's Creed. Number 3, IGN did a pretty clever one. They released a fake trailer for Titanfall's Optimus Prime DLC. And when you sit down for a second and say, well, it wasn't even Respawn that did this, they are that far away from entertaining this idea. Kind of sad, actually. Because the trailer, although, basically entirely animated by IGN and totally fake, is cool. I mean, yes, it contains a lot of shots from actual trailers. Yes, the backgrounds are actually the game. And that really makes it look real, because they matched it pretty well. And that would have been a lot of fun, I think. Number 2 is PlayStation pranks. They do a pretty good job, PlayStation. That being said, the first that we want to detail from PlayStation is the PlayStation Flow. A few sensors that you wear and a pair of goggles that allows you to do the swimming parts of games in a pool, which is just shy of Spinal Tap levels of ridiculous. It's basically virtual reality that only works if you're underwater, which is very silly. Hey, what if you could feel the water? How could we do that? Well, you'd have to basically do VR in a pool. Oh, that would be a good April Fool's joke, I think, is probably the way that got set up. Because that's just, there's no way that anybody just thought of that when trying to think of something. I feel like that was the result of a real discussion that they eventually realized, no, there's no practical way to do this, and we shouldn't even try. That's ridiculous. Let's not try. Thanks. And then they made this goofy trailer.
Oh my god! This is amazing!
The second enjoyable April Fool's prank I want to draw attention to with PlayStation is Sony's Asian division releasing a PlayStation board game, which you don't need. No one needs. And finally, number 1, let's just talk about one of the best gaming hoaxes, period. It's an elaborate one, and it involves Street Fighter. So, a bad Street Fighter 2 arcade translation translated the phrase in Japanese that meant, if you cannot overcome the rising dragon punch, you cannot win, to an English sentence that said, you must defeat Shang Long to stand a chance. Shang Long probably meaning Rising Dragon Punch. Electronic Gaming Monthly, who has been involved in quite a few April Fool's jokes over the years, made up an elaborate story about how you could actually fight Shang Long. In their April Fool's issue, they claimed that if you went through the arcade mode as Ryu without taking any damage several times in a row, that Shang Long would appear, throw M. Bison off of a stage, and you'd have to fight him. It turned out to be a very popular story that involved a large number of people getting very excited for Shang Long, what Shang Long actually looked like. And Capcom ran a character that was inspired by Shang Long, and obviously, instead of calling the character Shang Long and using the backstory that Electronic Gaming Monthly possibly owned, they named a character Gouken, who was very, very similar to Shang Long, and introduced him in Street Fighter II Turbo, and allowed you you to play as him in Street Fighter 4. At this point, it's such a murky story, I don't really know what the April Fool's is, and that's perhaps the most ridiculous April Fool's of all. What is reality? And what is just fantasy? I'm not gonna sing Bohemian Rhapsody. So do you remember any of these pranks, or do you have something massive planned for this year? It's coming up very soon, so get to planning. Leave us a comment, let us know what you thought about this video, and if you liked it, click the like button. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. It's the best way to see the latest videos we upload, so click subscribe and don't forget to click the notification bell. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.